My three schools are part of the Archdiocesan Association. That's why it's like the setup of the Archdiocesan clergy. We have the Archbishop, and then we have the Vicariate, and then the parish priest. In the school setting, we have the Archbishop as the head, and then the superintendent, and then we have the directors. So, in the level of the superintendent, we are like a community. We have established and formed one direction. And then the superintendent will see to it that we follow the central or the very aim of the Archdiocesan schools. So we have one vision and we have one mission also. Our vision is based from the vision of the Archdiocese, the discipleship of Christ and the apostleship of Christ. So the heads are the apostles, and then we have the followers, the disciples. So this is also true with the schools. So as Archdiocesan schools, we have one vision, one direction, and we all want our students to be like Christ. So he is our role model. We all want our students to be like him. So from the superintendent down to the director, and then the principal and the teachers. So, but in the school, I play as the head of. Okay. How do I manage the organization? First, there should be one direction, and as a head, I should have the authority, but I may have the power and the authority, but I see to it that I share it with my subordinates. So there is one direction, and then I trust my subordinates because I cannot do all these things without them, since I have many responsibilities. So first, there is one direction, and in setting the direction, all my subordinates would follow that direction, and then I should empower them, and at the end, I see to it that there is order with our directions, with the things that we want them to do. So there, one direction, there should be one direction, and then I share my authority with them. And then third, I empower them so that when they are empowered, it means that they can also empower their subordinates, their teachers, can have a different position as long as I personally would see that person as the initiative to do the work. That is very important. And then second, I see to it that the worker is not just her or his concern is not just about money, but I want him or her to see enjoying the work. That is very important. And third, we in the school, we cannot help but even though you are the most intelligent, the most talented, but of course the educational attainment or the academic performance of the teacher is also part of the criteria. But most of the time, I am more concerned with the initiative and the person who is willing to work without thinking the payment. That's very important. Because for me, work is always a product of love, an act of love, and work is always a thanksgiving. You have to thank God because He's the giver of the gift. And third, you work because you want to render service. I think Fayol's leadership characteristics or criteria, they are very realistic. After reading his style of leadership, I think they are already being followed by my co-directors and I, especially number one, centralization. Centralization is so important because in centralization, there is one direction, one authority, and then everyone or everything would depend upon the center or the core of the organization. I think that's the meaning of centralization. This is being followed by the archdiocesan directors. Like for instance, when we purchase books, or even with our curriculum plan now, even with all the coordinations like the academic program, even the sports development and spiritual activities, we are following that. And second, I like this idea about equality. In an organization, whether you are the director or you are one of the janitors, I think you should feel that you are just but one. That's very important so that they will not be left behind, especially the small workers. In some activities, they are part of the activity like recollection, retreat, and even during spiritual activities, they should be part of the activity so that they can clearly see that the organization could not move without them. Because for me, everyone is important. There are no small roles, but we have different roles to play so that the organization will move. And the third one that I like most about his idea about leadership, I think is the esprit de corps. This is like the idea of Jesus Christ, the communal leadership. When Jesus Christ formed the 12 apostles, he was not thinking about leading the disciples, but he was forming actually a group of leaders. And I think when you empower people, they all become leaders in their own way, but see to it that there's no if they do not empower one another, or the word is not empowering, but in the communal leadership, this is like the servant leadership of Jesus Christ in the book of Isaiah. There are leaders. Everyone is considered as a leader, but there should be respect. There should be the feeling of being equal, and there should be a clear cut where to stop and where to end, because sometimes the problem of this is they are all leaders. They might think that they are more powerful than the other. They are all leaders, but they should respect one another. In that way, they still follow the leader. That's why some of my schools, some of the leaders are not the oldest, because other young teachers or young leaders could head as long as they know what they are doing, they know the direction, they know the vision, they know the mission, and then they respect one another. So I think those are the three things that I like about his leadership: the esprit de corps, the quality, and then finally the centralization. But as a whole, all the 14 ways of leading people, I think they are all effective. They can be used. But I think as a leader, you should choose at least 3, and you have to adapt them to your people.